Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I was just listening to the Kareem Report. Just discovered his channel not too long ago. He taps in with the Lakers real strong and tells us what's going on as well. So that's another person I can snatch tea leaves from. So you know me, man. I have no shame because I don't know anybody. I can't call these guys and say, yo, who is what? Nah, I'm just a regular guy. So anytime I hear from those guys, that's when I can incorporate that into what I'm thinking. So Kareem just told us some good information about what the latest trade rumor would be in regards to Russell Westbrook, and he threw in a few new team names. One would be the Orlando Magic, and the Orlando Magic are a team I'm very interested in because they do have some pieces we would be interested in. Mo Bamba is obviously a guy we've talked about a lot on this channel. Someone the Lakers would love to bring in, stretch the floor, block shots. You know, we're looking for that type of piece. Um, and you know, they have some wings too that we could use. A guy by the name of Jonathan Isaac, who we've talked about as well, who I think can really help us, but is coming back from a knee injury. We haven't seen him in about 2 years, so that's kind of interesting. And then Markelle Fultz is also a player that he mentioned as well that might be part of the salary exchange for Russell Westbrook's contract at $47 million. So I don't have any problem. First of all, bringing in Mo Bamba is a plus off rip. I would love to bring in Mo Bamba. I don't think he's as expensive as, say, a Miles Turner, younger. Somebody with a lot of upside, I think, can help us in the future. Um, so I've always been interested in bringing in Mo. I thought we could have got him when his value was much lower before he developed, but hey, we've had around him for a while, so would be a good acquisition for our team. And the thing about Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz is I'm a believer in both of those players, but the only concern I have, honestly, is I don't want to be sold any lemons. I don't want to be sold any lemons. That's the only thing. I'm wondering if those guys are going to be able to help us as soon as we need them to, based on their conditioning issues. Obviously, these guys are coming off these year-long issues, and you know that it's going to take almost a year for them to get back into 100% shape. Well, everything we're doing is right away. You need to be healthy. You need to be at your tip-top conditioning right away so that we can do what we need to do right away. So if we bring those guys in and they're lemons, now we're stuck with their contracts. And we've given away any assets that would otherwise help us get rid of those guys if for some reason it becomes a problem. Now, obviously, you look at those two guys and you say they're young, but this is, like I said, we don't have a whole lot of wiggle room for mistakes. Now, strengthening our depth at the small forward position, I think, is a priority. And so, if you can bring in a high-level small forward like Jonathan Isaac, that's something you probably should consider doing. I'm not going to sit here and play games with you. What it is that we saw him being last, all he was missing was a jump shot, and he was an all-star. Problem is, it's been 2 years. That knee injury was not minor, and we haven't seen him. Nobody's seen him since. And so that's really what it comes down to. I do not want to be sold a lemon. We wear yellow, but we don't want lemons, period. We wear yellow, but we don't want lemons. Man, so that's really what it's all about. I'm excited about the opportunity to exchange Russell Westbrook for pieces that can help us. I think they can. Markelle Fultz is a player I really think has a lot of upside, but every time he gets back on the court, an injury comes. So at this point, I'm out. The injury issues are just piling up too much for me to want to invest in him and be the team that he finally turns it around with. I just think that's a poor bet at this point. So I understand why Orlando want to get rid of those guys. Increases their chances of tanking, puts a little more emphasis on younger players that they'd rather run a more majority of the time. And we are a obvious solution with Russell Westbrook's contract. So anybody that's willing to take that contract from us, we should be happy to listen to what it is they have to say and keep them happy with the vibes with us, even if we're not willing to do a deal, because that's when it comes trade deadline, we're going to settle for anything if nothing great comes about, because we need to be able to get rid of them. So we're not going to shut the door on any real deals at all. But I don't think we should jump on opportunities to sign injured players on not maximum, but on multiple year deals. I can think of a few names off rip. Joe Harris and those two. Hurt guys that are on multiple year contracts that I'm sure their teams would be very happy to get rid of, that I'm sure if they were at full capacity could make us a lot better. But they are not at full capacity, and we will have to be patient with them as they work their way back and then expect setbacks. So if that's not worked into our equation, we're going to be setting ourselves up for potential failure. And I'm always looking at how best to make us a champion, which means if we have those issues, we better have insurance for those issues, and we better have it now. That's the thing about what we're doing. It's like there's no wiggle room, you know? We get something wrong and we've punted the season. We get something wrong and we've punted LeBron's tenure. So it's like, make sure the next move is the best move. That's pressure. There's no guarantee that anything that we do will be the right or wrong thing. But one thing's for certain, if we keep Russell Westbrook on tab, we're not winning a championship. We know that. That much at least we could be certain of. So with that being said, obviously we got to do what we got to do to keep him healthy. In the meantime, I don't want anybody to forget about that. As long as he's out there running, there's a chance he can get hurt. And if he gets hurt, there's a chance we can't trade him for what we need to trade him for. But the thing about Kareem's report was that, you know, the price tag on draft picks is getting more expensive, as I told you guys, you know, just by sheer nature because of Victor Wembanyama and what it is that he's bringing into the situation. It is wise to now, if you're one of those teams, you know, be willing to take a little less for a draft pick. Maybe pay a little more for a draft pick or what have you, I should say. You know, you want to put yourself in a position to just make it a little more easy for yourself to get them. And that means paying a little more for them. So that's just where we're at. Now everybody wants their opportunity. More teams are looking at Victor and Scoot and are envisioning themselves with those players on their roster. So if they're to have any chance at acquiring them, you know, they got to tank it out. They got to tank it out. So I don't believe that the worst team is going to get Victor. I think it's very understood that the NBA has adjusted things so that doesn't happen. But nevertheless, teams are still going to give themselves every opportunity to be terrible because they know a bad team is going to get them. So I think it's a good chance for a team like the Lakers to sneak in and do some good things for themselves, maybe even win something this year because of it. But first things first, we got to take care of our roster. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I'm very excited about my Los Angeles Lakers right now. Just the prospect of what these two picks mean. I'm glad we've held them this long. I think that's why the emphasis on the Lakers to make a trade for those two picks has been so evident, because I think most of the people who were trying to pry them off of us understood what I just said and wanted us to kind of give them up too soon. And I was telling everybody we should not. We should hold on to those picks because of it. And sure enough, now you're seeing what I was talking about. It's manifested. So I think it's a good chance that continues to be the case. The longer we hold on to these picks going into this season, the more expensive they're going to become for those who are trying to buy them off us. It just is what it is. People are going to be more and more knowledgeable about Victor. They're going to be more and more certain about their own circumstances. And they're going to ultimately want to make some changes. And, you know, Kareem mentioned that the New York Knicks are now a part of the situation. I wasn't certain if they were considering tanking. Now I am. And so they're going to want to get rid of Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, Alec Burks. I believe he's still on there with a contract. You could totally see them doing that. And in order to do that, if I'm going up against them, I'm going to want one of those kids. They're not going to be able to give me Evan Fournier without giving me either Quentin Grimes, Manuel Quickley, Obi Toppin. I'm going to need one of those guys, especially since I understand your circumstances. So, yeah. Obviously, they just signed R.J. Barrett to a big-time deal, so he's not going anywhere. But Julius Randle's contract, I like Juju. You guys know we like Juju here, but his contract's a no-go. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. If they send us that, we're not giving them any picks for it. If I'm doing the deal, Westbrook goes out, Juju comes in. Maybe we'll give them a player or something. Maybe we'll make it make sense that way. But I'm not giving them no picks for that. Hell no. Hell no. Nope. No picks. That's a salary dump for a salary dump. And the fact of the matter is, I'm not doing it. I don't think anybody wants Juju's contract, which is why I wouldn't pay that for it. Don't get it twisted. If he was at a different price, of course, he's worth picks and all that stuff. Juju's an all-star. But no, on his contract, for what the Knicks need and what it is that I now know they want to do, hell no, I'm not giving no picks to them to take any of those bad contracts they have. Not them. Not them. That's a Knicks tax. And why is there a Knicks tax? Because they're just like the Lakers. They have a very, very prime location, and everybody should want to go there once they get Victor. See, that's the thing. Don't nobody want to go there now. But once the Knicks get Victor, then they can get Kevin Durant. Then they can probably snatch anybody. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't think that's the case for the Jazz. If the Jazz were to get Victor Wembanyama, I don't think that. You see what I'm saying? It's different. It is different. And so because it's different, even though Victor should be able to attract people just in general, he should be able to get players to play with him. But it's a whole different story if for some reason he becomes a New York Knick. That's different, man. I'm telling you, it's different. It just means something different to the NBA. If he goes to either the Lakers or, of course, us. But that's not in the conversation, so I would never bring it there. At the end of the day, Knicks tax until further notice. Sorry, I'm a realist. When it comes to this leverage thing, the more I learn, the more I know what I can tax against you in terms of leverage. I would not have said that last year. But this year, yeah. Actually, I would have said that last year. I told you guys it's to a degree in several of my videos that you have to pay for being a smaller market. I think it's a different way of saying the same thing. Because it's harder for smaller markets to get players, it's one of those situations where they are kind of going against it as opposed to teams like the Lakers, like the Knicks and in Miami and some of those teams that have, premier markets. The Indies, it's harder. They just paying as a owner, you're paying for it, having owned one of those teams as opposed to one of these teams. Essentially what I'm saying. Same thing. So that's what it is. When people talk about Laker tax, if they're thinking clearly, the Knicks tax now, now that I know they want to tank, it's a Knicks tax now. So that's how the game goes, man. That's exactly how it goes. And I would charge them accordingly. Look, I think the Knicks, now that I look at their situation, I'm saying, okay, I don't want Evan Fournier's contract or Julius Randle's contract. But if I can fleece them of all their kids and getting those contracts and get rid of Russell Westbrook, then that's the type of lopsided deal I think the Lakers need to try to finesse, because that's how you make yourself good enough to overpower the field and get yourself a championship this year. That's how you do it. You find one of those Minnesota, Utah Jazz type deals that are lean in your favor. Now, not to that degree to where you're freezing the market again, because I think Danny Ainge he's trying to get Victor. But you do want to find something that kind of leans in your favor if you're the Lakers, especially if you're the Lakers, since we know we don't get those type of deals very often. So we got to try to find something like that. And in our position with these two picks, it's a long, very, very long shot. But I like I said, you're trying to turn yourself into a championship team right away. So, yeah, look for a lopsided deal. Orlando has those pieces too. I think now that I know that they're interested in moving Mo Bamba to the starting lineup and having him as their 3, I'm curious to see if it really is in their best interest. If I'm talking about the Orlando Magic, is it really in your best interest to move Mo Bamba? Jonathan Isaac, yeah, because of the injuries and stuff. And Mo Bamba and him play this. Bobo and him play the same type of way, positions and stuff like that. If they're going to be playing the 3 same position, but I just look at all that length and I'm saying, you're not different. Like, the thing about it is, if just like Cleveland, they have different length, right? Because they were able to slap those 2 players, Evan Mobley and Allen, together. Obviously, Minnesota, now they got the same thing with Gobert and Karl Towns. Orlando has that dynamic with Bamba Bol, Carter, Isaac in place right now. If they don't do nothing like this, they got more length than people realize they have. Obviously, Paolo Banchero, I don't think people realize Paolo Banchero is massive. He's like 6'10", and he's like I think it's like 250 or something. The dude's huge. I don't think people realize how big Paolo is on top of that, as well as Franz Wagner, who's almost a 7-footer as well. I don't think people realize how big he is too. So it's like they got a lot of size. You can, I guess, stand the reason why they would wait and move on from a couple of those guys that are injury prone. But you don't want to get caught with those guys right now. Oh, wow. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. Hey, look, we should probably think about what the price tag is on those guys as the season progresses in terms of Orlando specifically. Why? Because as the season progresses, they're going to find out that they don't have the roles to make those guys' value as high as it's been. That's why they're trying to unload them right now. Jonathan Isaac, Markelle Fultz, right now you look at them as players who could potentially go back to being the players they used to be. And while they could play that way, the role that they had is not available to them because of the compounding players that they have on top of their positions. Sort of like what happened to Kendrick Nunn with the Miami Heat. It's exactly the same thing that's happened to Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz in Orlando because of Bol, because of Chuma Okeke, because of some of the other players that they have on their roster as well. Franz Wagner. Those are all forwards. They don't have the minutes to give to Jonathan Isaac to make him look like he used to look. So they need to trade him right now because of it. Hit me like a ton of bricks. So what the Lakers need to do, if they want Jonathan Isaac, is to not trade for him right now. Wait till about January, when it's properly defined that he is definitely not that player anymore. Not because of the conditioning, not because he can't do those things, because he's only going to be getting 15, 20 minutes a game. That's why. They're not going to play him over Bol. They're not going to play him over Chuma. And Paolo's going to be getting the ball. And they got 3 guards that got to get the ball as well. And they're all healthy as of right now, if I'm not mistaken. Suggs, I think, is going to be okay. Anthony's ready to go. And like I said, Fultz, they're trying to trade, obviously. Don't forget about Hampton, who's back there. And God knows who else they've drafted. So Orlando is loaded full of talent. And I think they're going to try to sell those contracts, those possible lemon contracts, at the value that they used to be able to keep them at. And they're hoping the Lakers bite. And unfortunately, people like me exist who ain't gonna let it happen. So that's my value to this thing, baby. I can see it all. I just need a couple seconds to let it manifest in the brain to hear. But that is exactly what it is. So yeah, just wait a little bit. His value's coming down. Yeah. And I'm speaking for Jonathan Isaac and Fultz specifically. You just ain't gonna play him enough. There's just no way they're gonna play him enough. Anyway, so yeah, that's how I'm looking at it, man. We gotta look for deals. Anything that someone's offering to us, chances are we shouldn't want it. That's what I know. Everybody's trying to fleece the Lakers by nature, so we should definitely expect that each and every time they offer us anything. Counter everything. That's what I say. Don't expect nobody to offer us a fair deal. They think we're stupid, and they're going to hit us with the tax on top of that. We are neither. So, that is what it is, man. That's pretty much what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Send Westbrook home, please. My worst nightmare is that boy going to go down with a knee injury. He going to turn the ball over, bust a knee, and we ain't going to be able to trade him for nothing good. We're going to have to give away both our picks, and we're going to be bringing back those players. Now, we're going to be out in the second round because of it. That leads to Bron James wondering if he should stick around. We got 1 year to get it right. All of that looks horrible. You don't want none of that. Send that boy home. Thinking about his feelings and what matters to him, trust you, me. Ain't none of that going to matter 3 months from now when he's in San Antonio. Send him home. It's time to start being like a drill sergeant and stop all this. The way he was behaving yesterday, or the way it appeared he was behaving, either way, I don't care, man. We just got to do what's best for the team. At the end of the day, if we're trying to win a championship, zero margin for error. And Russell Westbrook behaving like a child because he don't want to be here, because he don't feel like he's part of the team. You not part of the team, bro. Jesus. There's nothing wrong with his behavior. He's behaving the way it actually is. When he feels like he's a part of the team, I'm just going to tell y'all the way I honestly feel. When he feels like he's a part of the team, he's all in. When he doesn't feel like he's part of the team, he's all out. That's a very authentic human being. So, I've described to you that he's not a part of this in about 160 videos. He ain't a part of this. We didn't build this team for him. We don't want him around. We don't really appreciate his energy. Like, as a team, I'm just being real.
about as real as it gets. So when he acts up and is not trying to be a part of huddles and he's trying to stick away from the team, it's because he literally understands everything I'm describing to you, and he's not a part of this thing. And faking the funk and being phony, he wasn't faking the funk and being phony when he was doing all the stuff he was really doing. We were celebrating. That was real. And this is him being real too. I understand what I'm saying. So I'm not mad at Russell Westbrook. Not everybody wants to play the game. You know, I always tell people, just because a person's an artist don't mean they're an entertainer. You know, just because they're an artist doesn't mean they're a politician or a diplomat. This dude's none of that. He's a basketball player. And when crap ain't no good, his energy gonna reflect that. And when he ain't a part of something, he ain't a part of something. But when he feels like he's a part of something, he's in it. And you get his best. So you want Russell Westbrook's best? Do what you should by Russell Westbrook, so you put him in a position so he can be his natural self, and that be a good thing. You send him home. That's exactly what you do. That's where he needs to be now. If you don't feel like he's a part of this, he's not. There's nothing keeping him here but nothing. Like literally nothing now. So send him home. He should not be a part of this thing no more. It don't mean we trade him. No, we trade him when it makes sense to us to trade him. But for the time being, he just needs to be removed from the roster for the betterment of the roster. And I think everybody needs to be okay with that, starting with Jeanie Buss. So that's really what I have to say, man. And if I was running things, it would be done. I'm telling you, I'd have had that conversation with him this morning. You don't feel like being a part of this thing, I respect it. What we're asking you to do ain't good for nobody, bro. And we're hoping we can raise your trade value, but that doesn't look possible either. He's in the same situation Markelle Fultz and Jonathan Isaac are in, you guys. Same situation. His position is now being drowned out. As we said, Kendrick Nunn in Miami several years back, same dynamic. This is what's happened to Russell. Now we got Kendrick on top of him, ironically. Dennis Schroeder, Scottie Pippen, obviously ball handlers like LeBron James and Walker. And it just continues to go, obviously. Reeves, these are all people who need the ball in their hands. He's also a person who needs the ball in his hands and is one of the highest usage players in the history of the sport. So how is he going to ever be himself? Not possible. So even if he goes out there, plays his best, is ready to get into a triple-double situation every night, we don't have the minutes. So sending him home, it's the only way. Because at this point, it's like what we're trying to do is raise his value, and there's no other way to do so. There's no way to do that. As to where we thought it would be before we signed Dennis Schroeder. Now that you signed Dennis Schroeder, there goes those minutes. Now, sending him out there to play like 10 minutes a game, that doesn't allow him to get in the rhythm. How's he ever going to average a triple-double and get back to value? No. But what you are doing is giving him something that his body's not used to having, which is smaller increments of time on the floor with more sitting. You know what that can do? Stop, start. For a muscle-bound dude like that, injuries, you're asking for it. You're asking for it. Send him home. Send him home. Send him home. Send that man home. He has a loving wife and family that is looking to give him all his attention. I know it. Especially after what he's been through. He need that. He don't need to be out on the basketball court living this nightmare for the Lakers. Nobody want him out there. No. And he can't play well on top of it. At least he would be able to shut us up with good basketball play. Can't even do that. So it's like, nah. Send him home. No risk to us. Because if he's going home, he ain't getting hurt. Not on our dime anyway. Set price. His price doesn't fluctuate anymore. This is Russell Westbrook. He's at home, healthy, can't get hurt. $47 million. You don't want him to be a player anyway. Trade team, you're just trying to tank. So we keep him healthy. You trade for him when it makes sense for all of us. Boom. He'll stay in shape because he's Russell Westbrook. And he'll be ready to ball for the next team. And they'll buy him out, and then he'll be able to work out for teams and probably start his season next year. He'll probably not play the second half of the season. But next year, I'm pretty sure he'll find him a squad. That's how I see that going. But I don't see a team saying, okay, let's bring Russell Westbrook in because we're trying to win. Nah, I don't. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Ain't no team about to do that. No. If he does sign with somebody, it's going to be a tanking team. And why would he want to sign with a tanking team anyway? I don't know. I don't think so. It would be more or less him going to the team, getting bought out by that team. and then going back to that team and asking them to take him for a minimum. That's like something like what would probably end up happening. And we trade him to San Antonio. They wouldn't keep him at 47 though. It's like, and you see him re-signing him at a smaller price for what? How is it? See what I'm saying? It just looks bad for Russell, man. Just go ahead and send him home so we can start the process of what it is he has to do next. You feel me? Like, honestly. Because that's where we are with him now. So, yeah, I think that's why he was acting up, because I think he see it the same way I do. It's a wrap. So, that's what I got, man. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I am definitely going to always keep it real, man. Just like Russ, I'm going to try to keep it as real as I possibly can and let the chips fall where it may. We're trying to win a championship, but we don't have only one person to consider in the situation. So that's what we about, man. Purple and gold. It ain't about the name on the back. It's about the name on the front at all times. And that's what we're about, man. Hopefully we can go ahead and finish off what we have to do in terms of this preseason. Stay healthy. Got good news on Walker and Juan Toscano Anderson. Both of those guys are going to be practicing and should be available for the final preseason game. So that is best case scenario personified. We're so happy to hear them dudes are not hurt. So that's what I got, man. I don't expect the Lakers are going to make any trades anytime soon. We're still going to let those prices get a little more juicy for us, I guess you can say. Make the clock look a little more favorable for what it is we're trying to do. And so a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, I don't know, but I expect the rumors to continue to hit us, that they're going to get us in waves to, oh, the Lakers are about to do a deal. No, we're not. Oh, yes, we are. It's going to be a lot of that bull crap over the next couple of weeks. So be prepared, Laker fans. They're going to tell you should want something. You probably shouldn't want it. But stay close to BDF 44, and I'll give you the best I can in regards to what I think it's worth. And, yeah, we're building a champion. Period. BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching.